Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a plan with me for the week of October 17th through the 23rd, 2022 in my B5 Archer and Olive notebook. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. Here we are flipped to the week in my Archer and Olive notebook. I'm planning on doing a little bit of a different spread today. I'm going to be using these Distress Oxides as well as my black VersaFine ink for this spread. I'll be using this stamp set from Everyday Explorers Co., these numbers from Studio Calico, my month stamps from Heidi Swap, and these Days of the Week stamps from Everyday Explorers Co. I'm basically trying to emulate or reproduce a spread that I did back in April when I first started using my bullet journal. I didn't really get to utilize my spread that week. It was honestly a very difficult week for me. My grandmother got very sick that week, or it became very evident that she was reaching the end of her life that week, and she ended up passing that week. So I really liked the way the spread had come out, but I did not use my planner very much, and it's just for some reason taking me a long time to want to try to reproduce that format because it was a very different format for me. I'm basically using columns for the days of the week, events happening during the week, to-dos, and work-related tasks. And then the rows across will basically be for each day of the week. I did want to have a bit of a Halloween-esque color scheme for this week's spread. I am going to be away on vacation during Halloween, and so I'm not going to be doing a very Halloween spread that week. I'm really going to be focusing more on a Disney spread that week. So I wanted to have at least one spread in October where it had more of a Halloween energy and vibe to it. And so I pulled out my carved pumpkin Distress Oxide, and I do a lot of times see orange and purple paired together for Halloween, and so I pulled out this, I think it's called Shaded Lilac or something like that. It's not necessarily like a bold dark purple that you would usually find for Halloween, but I was kind of working with what I had. And so I used one of the stamps from my Everyday Explorers Co set to basically put a background for each day of the week, and then for the headers across the top. And then I used this floral stamp from Everyday Explorer Co. To add in some purple, and now I'm using this third stamp from that same Everyday Explorer Co. set, which basically just has like a cluster of squares, and I'm using my black soot Distress Oxide, but what I'm doing is I'm basically putting the ink on the stamp, stamping it once on a scrap sheet of paper, and then stamping it on my spread so that it wasn't super, super dark. Now I'm going in with my, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm still using that same that same square stamp. But once I finish with that, I'm going to go in with my month stamp and then my days of the week stamps. So here I am just putting October right in the top left corner of the spread, and then I'm going to be taking that days of the week stamp set from Everyday Explorers Co. and stamping Monday through Sunday down the left side of the spread. As you can see, I keep going back to that spread in April to kind of reference how I did everything. What I ended up deciding, though, when I was putting this spread together is that when I was putting down the days of the week, I was going to push them all the way over towards the left that way I could put the dates towards the right. When I did the spread in April, I used different number stamps that were larger, and I kind of put the days of the week kind of overlapped on top of the date, and that's not the vibe I was kind of going for this time. So as you can see, I'm just making my way through the week and pushing things kind of all the way over towards the left side. And I was going to say, I do think I remember to move my notebook up so that I'm in frame. The stamps that I ended up using for the dates are the ones I've used recently. They're new to me. They're from Studio Calico. They're really nice and small, which I like. Very convenient when I'm putting stamps together or spreads together. But I will say that I didn't necessarily get the spacing totally right when it came to doing this left-hand column, because some of the dates do kind of almost go into the middle of those two columns on the left-hand page of the spread, but I don't think it looks bad. I think overall it still looks fine. So right now I'm just going through and I put down all my ones and then all my twos that I needed, because we're transitioning from teens to 20s for this week. And then now I'm going to go through and just stamp in all of the second digits for the dates for this week. So I did 17, I'll do 18, 19, and I've already done basically the second half of the week. I think I did pretty good at keeping things lined up. I do tend to be a little bit of a perfectionist and a stickler when it comes to trying to get my numbers really close together and lined up perfectly, and I did okay here. There was definitely a few that were a little wonky or a little uneven, but I think the more and more I'm using my bullet journal, the more I'm coming to terms with the fact that it's not going to be perfect. That's just not realistic. Now that I have the dates all done, I'm going to work on just putting in headers for those columns across the top. So the one all the way to the right says work, this next one says to do, and then the first one is going to say this week. And so the way that it works is that for Monday, I'll basically go across the row, and if I have any event or something, an appointment, a meeting, something like that happening, it would go in that first column. If I have any to-dos that day, they'll go in the second. And then if there's anything work-related going on, really more so work to-dos, they would go in that third column. So now I'm just going to go in and basically put in all of the lines to separate the days of the week across. But I don't do straight lines all the way across. I slice them up so that you can tell where the different columns are as well. This is a little bit annoying and a little bit time consuming, but I do like the way that it looks in the end. Now I'm moving over and doing the same thing on the left-hand page of the spread. I'm interested to see how I use this spread this week. Again, did it once before but didn't really get to utilize it. So I think using it this week will really give me an idea if this is a layout that I will continue to do in the future, versus sticking with things that are more like the square shapes that I usually use and occasionally vertical spreads. But that's it. Now that the lines are all in, we are done. I hope you enjoyed this plan with me. As always, be safe. Bye-bye.